When faced with a choice, one would expect to choose life. And as a father, it is disheartening to see the only choice available to most is making a living in foreign shores far away from home and family. Lagos, the city of aquatic splendor, the Venice of Africa, the metropolis in the lagoon. Well, okay, that's what they say. All possibilities that are yet to be seen. But possibilities mean opportunities. Opportunities signal hope. Let's imagine a city built for an uncertain future. Working with nature, we can build with certainty. We can repair, restore, protect, and conserve. Life should be full of joy and wonder, not toil and despair. If you build, they will come. Well, nature built already, and they came in numbers, from the fishing communities of the 17th century to the mega city of today. Protected by the lagoons that surround us, we have thrived through the ingenuity of man. Now a new threat arises, climate change, created by man. We must look to nature and forge alliances with nature itself. If the city is our body, the rivers are our blood. The mangrove forests are our lungs, the estuaries are our kidneys. I could go on. It's time to look out of the box and build for the future, a resilient economy, a livable city. Waste not, want not. It's time to cut out the trash and save what we have before it's too late. Climate change will shape every single aspect of the future of humanity in the near future. It will be front and center for economics and politics, and we must be proactive in our response because there will be winners and losers. Just as important will be the effects of Web3. What the new decentralized economy will mean to a generation can barely be imagined. Its effects on education, banking, insurance, healthcare, corporations, land rights, and politics. The value and power it will unlock for a generation in a country like Nigeria, with our youthful population, is breathtaking. It has the ability to touch and transform the nation. This promise must be harnessed and made available to this present generation. In the new world, we will travel, and you will pay with carbon credits. Buckminster Fuller famously said, if a system is broken, you don't change it. You build a new one, making the old obsolete. The petrodollar economy is broken, and with the corrupt culture it spawned, it's time for a new system based on carbon credits. Rewards for healing the earth, not for causing more damage. In the 50s, global tourism was barely 25 million tourists per annum. We're fast approaching 2 billion tourists a year globally, and Africa remains largely intact. All tourism starts at home. A World Bank study found Nigerians to be the most educated diaspora community in the United States, with the largest, most educated, and wealthiest diaspora community in Africa. It follows that we should be prepared for an uptick in tourism. We're all bracing ourselves for the hordes of I Just Got Back that will land on our shores in a couple of weeks. And if you've ever tried to buy a last-minute ticket to Lagos in Christmas, you know the purchasing power of this set. We must capitalize on this and create opportunities all year round to capture this phenomenon. Here in Lagos, we have a rich culture, being the easternmost border of the Ashanti Empire, the western border of the Benin Empire, and the battlefield for the Dahomey and Oyo Empire. Our history is rich and diverse, reaching back to the 13th century when civilization arrived here from the courts of Ife. Seeking refuge, escaping the ravages from Lamurudu, seeking his kingdom, having himself been displaced from the Middle East due to the collapse of the Byzantine Empire, remnants of the Roman Empire. Then came the arrival of the Portuguese in the 15th century and the British in the 18th century. We have welcomed migrants and have made them feel at home. Tourism is in fact so ingrained in us that 19 million tourists have made this their home. It's time for us to conserve that magic that captivates them and harness and protect this for future generations. How do we do this? In 1688, Lloyd's of London was created to pool risk, to fund the emerging British businesses that will create the empire where the sun never set. They did this by creating fungible products the market can invest in. This market will become the London Stock Exchange, an institution known for its reliance on data. This was the birth of the Age of Enlightenment, a period that would see science, maths, art, and philosophy bring about many of the changes we see today. History repeats itself, its lessons to learn. In that time, there was a Charles on the throne of Great Britain, and London was burning, corruption and poverty out of control. A group of mathematicians will take the government to task, and using data, were able to prove through the amount of bread sold and the available birth, death, and other public records that the population of London couldn't be more than 250,000, a far cry from the 1 million figure popular with politicians at the time. The government could not provide basic amenities for 1 million people based on its finances. However, 250,000 people was a different kettle of fish. This would set us sweeping reforms across governance. Talking about fish, in Nigeria, it's a big industry. In fact, we like it so much, it's used as a spice. It currently contributes $16 billion to our GDP, 81% of this provided by artisanal fishing. Science tells us mangroves are the nurseries for fishes, and the need for protection of this industry is obvious. Only data and science will provide the wherewithal to do this. New Africa Carbon Market Initiative has just been inaugurated at COP27. The New Africa Carbon Market Initiative aims to support the growth of carbon credit production and create jobs in Africa. As part of the launch of COP27, the following announcements were made. ACMI's ambition is for the growth of African voluntary carbon markets to produce 300 million carbon credits annually by 2030 and 1.5 billion credits annually by 2050. Unlock 6 billion in revenue by 2030 and over 120 billion by 2050. Support 30 million jobs by 2030 and over 110 million jobs by 2050. Distribute revenue equitably and transparently within local communities. What an incredible time to be alive. Wake up, collect your money. The best time to plant a mangrove tree was 25 years ago. The next best time is today. The symposium will highlight possibilities in conservation, tourism, marketing, Web3. We are honored to have with us today Jonathan Millard of the Montane Forest Project, Netta Henyan, co-founder of the Juha Guest House, noted for turning around Jizazak, a poor Muslim fishing village, into a noted tourist destination. Farouk Orerba, a veteran of the market, a former director of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, with a distinguished career in the London Stock Exchange and the South African Exchange. And least but not least of the speakers, Samuel Akpan, a visionary who saw the gap and made a leap from luxury marketing to crypto. And today he currently works at the market-leading blockchain technology company, Consensus. If you own a wallet, you will know them as MetaMask. We will be joined in a discussion afterwards by Professor Lawansin of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning, University of Lagos, and the Alpha Project, whose brilliant work, amongst other things, deals with the appropriation of public spaces for recreation. Dr. Natalie Benet of Circular Economy Innovation Partners, Creating Value from Plastic. Mrs. Sandra Alonge, Team Leader, GIZ, Program for Development in Nigeria. And Dr. Dolapo Fashawe, GN Lasepa, who is away at COP27, but ably represented here by the Director of the Legal Unit, Mrs. Oshikoya, and Director Lekki Zonal Office, Mrs. Atoyebi and Mrs. Adebisi. The aim of the symposium is to try and save the wetlands of Lagos, Nigeria, by creating a carbon asset, a tourist asset, a research base, a nature reserve, and to bring the public's attention how this is doable and necessary for the current generation. A selected group of the audience of young volunteers will be tasked to prepare a draft paper based on the symposium during the second part, working to ensure government policies directly reflect the aspiration of the youths and marginalized communities. I welcome our special guests and call them to join me in the center table. I welcome all of you once again. Taking time, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to see what we are doing, listen and lend a hand. I invite you to sit back and enjoy as I hand over to our moderator for the day, Ms. Nadine Odefon. Thank you.